minutes. If you have not followed his Triple H Horse Racing podcast, you're missing out. It's one of the best podcasts in the country.
Good morning and welcome to the HHH Racing Podcast. Saratoga today on Sunday, August 17th. I'm your proud host, Howard Krauts, along with good friend and co-host, what's his name? We haven't been on together in a while. Oh, yeah, Pete Visco, crushing it on X with his pick fives lately. Thanks for joining us as we are here to talk about the late pick five on what it's hard to believe the third to last Saturday at Saratoga. Wow, only two more Saturdays left at Saratoga. Thanks for joining us. You can, of course, hit that subscribe button, bottom right-hand side of the screen, notification bell on the top right, and smash that like button below the video player. As Kyle Roscoe says, that'll bring like-minded horse players to the HHH Racing Podcast. Listen to us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Anchor. Follow us on X at HHH Racing Pod, and subscribe to our very popular and red hot Power Pick tip sheet. Yesterday for me, not as good, but the week before, wow, absolutely on fire. Go to patreon.com. Pete, we have well over 200 people that have signed up for our Power Pick tip sheets throughout the world. We greatly appreciate it. That does not include Noah's and Jackson's Del Mar Power Pick tip sheet, which has been very good. The Saratoga Power Pick tip sheet, which you authored today, and myself and Paul have been writing. Anyway, check out everything that we've got to offer, which you can find out on our website, hhhracingpodcast.com. Mr. Visco, congratulations, my friend. You have been on fire with your pick fives. It's nice to be on a roll and hit those, because we all know they're not easy to do.
It is. It's very surprising. I can tell you my wife is very surprised, since she is used to me complaining about, getting knocked out in the first leg or getting knocked out in the last leg and just cursing the whole day. So, it's nice to get a little run going, and my bank account appreciates it as well. Although yesterday, remember,
based on what you've said,
I texted you guys, the day didn't start out great, because in the first leg of the Woodbine pick five that I played, I keyed in the wrong number, and it was a $23 horse that won that I should have had and didn't. Now, luckily, I think I lost every race after that, so it didn't matter. But I thought it was going to be a bad day, and it turned out pretty good. But why don't you talk about your day? Your day went pretty well eventually as well.
Well, two things. First of all, the swearing that you mentioned, based on what you said in this show, I figured you'd be swearing during the day anyway, no matter if you were.
I curse all day, but some of it's a little more mean-spirited or negative than just the general happy cursing that I tend to do. All right.
Well, I had a weird day. I'll be very quick. We talked about it on Weekend Warriors. The week before, myself and Chris Walsh, we couldn't miss. When we were at Saratoga, I mean, the Power Pick sheet had 4 out of 6 winners, Pete, and I tipped out a 10-1 that almost won. I tipped out a 5-1, a 4-1, a 8-1 that won. I mean, it was completely ridiculous. That doesn't usually happen. But I mean, once in a while, I've got a good day. And then yesterday, man, myself and Jackson, we couldn't hit the broadside of a barn. We were absolutely awful. Like, every horse didn't get the right trip. Didn't break well, just didn't run well. I mean, and Chris had a good day on our tip sheet, and I was all pissed. I don't know about you, Pete, but I'm hard on myself when it comes to betting. I know we're not going to win every bet, but I get frustrated, man. I mean, I spend a lot of time on this game like you do, and I was getting my ass handed to me, and I was like, you know what? I don't even want to play Del Mar. I'm just going to watch some TV, go to bed early. I might not even look at the PPs, today on Sunday. I got schoolwork to do. It just started. I got to get ready for the podcast schedule next week, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, you know what? I'll take a look at Del Mar. They got a pick 6 carryover. They got big fields in late pick 5. Long story short, I did my handicapping. I saw some things I liked. I verified with Noah's tip sheet. He liked similar things. And I hit the pick 5 for 2,800 and 5 out of 6 for another like 650. And I lost the first leg of the pick 6. Otherwise, it would have hit for 27,000. And now I'm all happy. So it just goes to show you, Pete, though, as we talked on the show, and I'm not, applauding, patting myself on the back, because like I said, I was awful the first half of the day yesterday. You just got to stick to your process, man. I know you feel the same way. You've gone through some tough streaks of not hitting pick 5s, just like we all have. You just got to stick with your process. Eventually, you got to trust yourself and you can't be, as Matt Bernier has told both of us many times, you cannot be too result oriented, because there's just too much shit that happens in this game from one race to the next in terms of braking, bad trips, jockey intent. And so you just do the best you can and just stay confident with what you do.
Yeah, no, I agree 100%. I think that the days where I get mad is just if it's an actual mistake. So like if I'm looking at a race and I'm like, I really should include this
like pressing
horse.
the wrong button.
Well, that's just pure stupidity. That's even worse. I'm known for. I saw Charlie mention that he's done that in the past as well, and I'm known to be stupid. And you know what it was that pissed me off? I switched to Twin Spires, the app, this week because last week the TVG app was really slow last week and it was just pissing me off. So I have all three and I've used all three, and I like DRF as well, but DRF doesn't have all the tracks, which is that's a rant in itself for Paul. I mean, we talk about that, where I hate that I have money in that account and there's a track that I want to play and it's not one of the tracks that they allow. So yeah, I was on Twin Spires and the buttons are a little different. They're a little smaller. I think I just fat fingered it. And, but I think it's more the times when I look at a race, I know I should include, or I have like a horse labeled as an A, but when I put my ticket in, for some reason, I leave the horse off. So then it's just stuff where I don't like being stupid. And when you're stupid and lose, it's different than your horses. Sometimes your horses just don't run well. Or like you said, you get a bad trip. It's the bias is completely against the way you handicapped or something like that. You can't really do a lot about that. It's more mental errors that really get under my skin, and they fester with me. I can't let them go.
Well, then you feel good, and then you got people like Tim Sylvette. Tim, I'm gonna leave you on. And I appreciate you joining the chat. I really liked the 2 in the 5th race yesterday at Saratoga. Didn't run at all. Tim, thanks for reminding me that one of my favorite plays of the day ran horribly. I love our fans. They always bring you down when you're feeling good.
Well, it's always fun. So, I do so for anyone who doesn't know, on the website, if you go and you see the scores from the power pick, so I do that and I update it. And there's some times where I look at it and go, oh, that spot play, whether it's any of us doing it, I'm like, oh, that spot play ran dead last. That's got to feel good. And you just sit there and you're like, Jesus Christ, how could I have been so wrong in this race?
Yeah,
but, that's just, as long as I think the key is, so you're a good handicapper if you pick a winner, right? You look at yourself and you're confident and people are like, oh, great pick. But you could handicap the next race the exact same way, put in the same exact time. Yeah. You consider all the same factors and your horse runs like crap, doesn't get the trip you expected. So like, were you a good handicapper and now you stink? Or like you say, just keep the process, do the same thing all the way through. And then I think you're gonna get the swings, but I think you're gonna get some ups doing it that way.
I think so. And Andy Serling, I'll leave with this. I know not everyone's a big fan of Andy Serling. I am. He said something very interesting in the show last week where he was talking to the MIG, and MIG's like, we're trying to find winners for you. And Andy actually said something pretty bold, which I agree with. We're not necessarily trying to find winners. What we're trying to do is find value. This game is about value. It's not about you want to find winners, but to me, finding a 12-1 shot that finishes second is almost, if not more valuable than finding the 8-5 that wins the race. It all depends on how you bet, right? Yes, we're trying to find winners, but we're trying to find horses that we don't like that are taking a lot of money. And we're also trying to find horses that we do like that aren't taking a lot of money. And so it's not just about necessarily finding the winning horse, although I know that's a simplistic view of it. So
can I say one last thing to that?
Yeah, go ahead.
So you listen to a lot of podcasts too, other than ours, I assume, horse racing related.
Not too many, actually.
Not too many anymore. Okay, well, I listen to a decent amount, and I don't listen to them, or if you're watching someone prognosticate anything, I don't listen to say, who did they pick? I want to ride that pick. It's, did they talk about a piece of information related to a horse that,
Chris Couples.
Yeah. So did they talk about a pick?
In certain ways, perhaps, right, Pete? In certain ways, depending on who you ask.
Yeah, depending on who you ask. I think I'll pass, but some
I
people
know you'll pass on that one.
I'll pass. But there might be just a certain piece of information that I missed. And it doesn't necessarily mean I like the same horse or I'm going to play the horse because they like them. But I just like to listen because it's just more data. And that's what I try. And I think that's what we do on here is, okay, you might not like the same horse, you might not play the same horse, but we might talk about something for the 4 here that you didn't think of. And it could either swing you to play the horse or toss the horse. And I think that's the benefit too of talking through it and kind of what we do. I don't know if you agree with that, but
Totally
yeah.
agree. Totally. No, I do agree with that. Minor internet issues. I don't know if it's me or you. It's probably me. But
I
if
think
you
it's
hear
you
us
because
jumping
you're
around,
freezing. I'm not, but I don't know if I'm freezing
I
and
don't know.
you're
I
not.
reset my internet. I reset my internet yesterday. I don't know what's going on. I'll figure it out. I apologize in advance if we skip a little bit. Anyway, first leg of the late pick 5 today, Pete, as we got Travers Week, by the way, coming up. Very exciting. Race 6,
Yes.
4:06 Eastern, 2-year-olds and possibly 1 or 2 talented ones here. We have scratches are in. They are not indicative of what you see on the bottom of the screen. Pete, do you want to throw a different horse in for third?
Oh yeah. So I had because who did I have? The 7. I have the
Yep.
2 now. Yeah, you could switch me to the 2.
3-4-2?
Yeah.
3-4-2. All right. This is a weird race, Pete, because usually there's a lot of intel. I couldn't find a lot of intel. I couldn't find a lot of works to watch. The workout report was not very good on a lot of these. However, a lot of them were working on dirt, and this is a turf race. I just chalked out. So did you. So did you here. I went 3-4-1. You went 3-4-2. You have to believe that either the Chad or the actually Pletcher's got 2, but the teleport, you'd figure one of these is gonna fire first time out here.
You would figure, right? The way I looked at it, and I mean like we all do when if you don't have the workout report, which we don't when we first handicap these races, you look at, the sire, the dam, the trainer, how do they work under these circumstances, first time starters, whatever. With the 3 guitarists, obviously well bred, $900,000 purchase, quality road, a Harlan's Holiday mare on the dam side. But the one thing I liked, and obviously we know Chad Brown, I mean, we're not breaking any ground here. Chad can train a long distance, a routing turf horse. But what I did like, I had a little stat. Chad had 3 winners and a show in his last four first time starters going 8.5 furlongs and up on the turf. Now I don't know if that changed since I don't know if that changed over the last couple days since I last did it, but I looked at that and I had a negative stat. So Todd Pletcher, when we talk about teleport, the 4, Pletcher 1 for 42 with first time starters going 8.5 furlongs and up on the turf. So when I looked at that, I said between these 2 who could be a similar price, I assume the 3, the Chad guitarist will be the favorite, but I think they'll be close enough to where if I can sort of lean towards one and not the other, then I think that's at least a benefit.
I have another stat here people can see. How good is Chad with his first time starting 2-year-olds at Saratoga on the turf? Actually, I didn't put long on the turf. Let me even break it down even more. Let's go long. So this is about as specific as we can get, right, Pete? We got Chad Brown last 5 years, first time starting 2-year-olds going long on the turf, almost 20%.
Yeah.
I mean, for Saratoga, that is insane. What's even crazier is you see because it's red, that's below his normal stat,
Yes.
which is 24%. So 18%, pretty damn good, I'd say. Let the board be your guide. I don't think we need to talk about this race too long.
The 4 is beautifully bred,
here.
though. I mean, the 4
Yes.
looks like the distance should be fantastic and is beautifully bred. So if you lean the 4, I mean, I don't think anybody's gonna argue it. Yeah, that horse came over and ran fantastic.
Huge.
Joelier, I can't remember the exact pronunciation, but that horse ran fantastic when he came over.
I threw the 1 in there because I just have mad respect for Junior and Mod. They can always pop at a price at some point, but I don't have any.
By the way,
I really don't have a lot of intel. I wish I could tell people more. They're just
by the way,
a lot of workouts to watch and etc. So we'll go ahead and move on. Go ahead.
Bill Mott is not. This is not the circumstance for a Bill Mott horse, and I know you don't probably think of this as a win contender. Mott 0 for 38, 4 for 38 in the money too. First time starters in turf routes in the past 2 years. That's just brutal. So
not good.
Yeah,
not good at all.
No.
I'm probably one of the favorites there. Race 7, Pete. What happened to your son?
Both of them.
I don't think he's Irish, but What happened to Irish Jackson? They scratched him today? He's got
They
hanging
scratched
out
them
with a
both.
girlfriend or something, or what? I don't know.
Unbelievable.
Anyway,
Well, my dad is going to be disappointed because I'm sure he had that exacta lined up for sure. So I don't know
One,
what
5,
happened
and
there.
7. Yeah, 1, 5, and 7 are out in the setter allowance 12-5, going 6.5 for a purse of 40 grand. It's down to a field of 5. I'm going 6-3-7. Both the Jacksons. Sorry, the Jackson
Yeah,
Dixie is out
both
also.
Jacksons are
So
out. Yeah.
both Jacksons are out. I'd have to switch my pick. I can be honest. I don't want to just throw a number up there without looking deeper. But anyway, I'll go 6-3. We're both going 6-3 here with Spiritual Lady for Charlier. I'm gonna have to look into that. And Irad.
Yeah, I actually switched mine to the 2, but it was a very
Oh,
no, I meant sorry, and I'm not Paul, by the
your
way.
third pick.
I am
Got it.
Pete, not Paul, but not that matters
Oh,
very
what did I
much.
do? I didn't switch
If
the.
my picks stink, you could leave Paul's name up there. So,
Sorry
leave
about that.
Paul if in case all my picks lose, I'd like to be under his
Oh,
name
I forgot
instead.
to change the name. Go ahead and talk about
But
the 6.
the 6, I mean, there's not a lot, especially with the scratches. I think she sort of lays over the field a bit. She just seems to be in really good form right now. And in all honesty, Greg Charlery, I don't, like you said, I don't remember how to pronounce that. Only has one win on the year, and it's this horse last out after the claim. So you get Irad back again. It's similar horse. Actually, it's even a softer field than it looked like on paper coming in. So I just think if you're playing any sort of horizontal, has 2 wins over Saratoga, has wins at the distance, got the almost got the lifetime buyer top and last, so is right at the knocking on the door. Time form was, I think, maybe the best lifetime time form. So there's just a lot to like about this horse.
Yeah, I mean, there's not much in here. The 6 is just going to sit off the 3 and probably go by. I mean, maybe the 3 gets loose.
I mean, pace play. Yeah, if you like the
6
3, it's a
doesn't
pace
break.
play, right? Yeah, that's pretty
Yeah, it's
much
not
it.
obviously not much. Yeah, not much to look at there anymore in this race. Let's go ahead on to race 8. So I go ahead and change some things here. And okay, it's not. There we go. Race 8 is the Bolton Landing. We got a stake, 5.5 furlongs the turf for the 2-year-old fillies. What's with the scratches say? It's the first time I'm looking at this. This is no bueno. I'm
Yeah,
not
it's a
sure
bad
what's going
one
on
too
here,
now.
but we got
Yeah.
more scratches. The weather's okay as far as I know. 1, 5, and 7 are out. This is another field of 5. Very unusual on a day where there is not rain, Pete, that we see this small field at Saratoga late in the card. Sort of a bummer, but we will move on. The morning line favorite is the number 4, Cy-Fair at 8-5, who is absolutely outstanding in her turf debut. Let's go to where it's race 8, right? Let's go to where we're going here. Again, this was before we had scratches, but all my horses and your horse are in. I'm going 4-3-6. You're going 6-4-3. You're going to go with the New York bred for Chris Englehart and Irad's Sacred Goddess, who won her debut.
So here's my problem, and this comes into play, and this is just a little tip for our power picks, because we send our power picks out and we write them before scratches. Part of my rationale for liking the 6 was that I thought the 1 and the 5 would be able to at least put pressure on the 4. And the 4, I think, could sit off probably, but I thought that there was a chance that the 1 and the 5, who, could bracket the 4 and make life difficult and set it up for a horse coming off the pace. And the 6, Sacred Goddess, is a horse that I have, not to spoil it, on the Saratoga power picks as one of my spot plays. But the pace scenario completely changes with the scratches here. Now, I still like this horse, and I still think this horse can win. I mean, it's Irad. It's a $200,000 purchase off of a 12.5 stud fee only. But here's the one thing I like, and you and I talk about this, and while you're in here, you could probably show it. So Cy-Fair, who was phenomenal first out, like you talked about, came up with a 103 time form and an 80 buyer. Now, if you look at the 6, Sacred Goddess had I think a 68 buyer it was there, but had a 102 time form. So right off, from a buyer perspective, they look to be pretty far apart, but from a time form perspective, they're much closer. So if you look at it, and if you trust time form a little bit, maybe they're closer on the debut than it looks like if you're just looking at the DRF, if you're just looking at the buyer. So I looked at
Interesting.
it that way. And actually, her race, she was bumped a little bit. I thought she actually had the 6. I'm talking about Sacred Goddess. I thought she had a little bit more to deal with on debut. Not a lot. It wasn't like a bad trip or anything, but it wasn't as clean and easy as I thought the 4 maybe had a little bit of a better trip. So that's what I originally looked at, but the pace scenario might just wipe all that out now.
Well, interestingly enough, according to the pace scenario, the 6 is now just going to sit right off the 4 pretty comfortably, Pete.
Yeah,
So,
but I mean, if the 4 gets away and it's just
you see
good.
it more as a closer. Yeah, you see the 6 more as a closing type. Based on time form, the 6 is really going to be not that far off the 4, actually.
Well,
so
that was
we'll
because the
see.
1 and the 5 were actually ahead of the 4. So the 6 was
Right.
sitting in like the 4th spot, more stalking
Yeah.
originally. Now I think the 6 sits right off. And Irad's really comfortable, obviously, in that position. So I like having Irad on this horse chasing. I don't mind that by any stretch.
This is Cy-Fair taking the lead. I mean, he was one of the more impressive turf sprinters, 2-year-old or otherwise, we've seen all meet so far. Can she repeat that? I just don't see a reason why not. Obviously, you're not getting 5-1 as we see here draw off very comfortably. Cy-Fair could be a handful today. I'm trying to remember. I don't think Keto Drink ran great yesterday, right? Actually, okay. Lost
Was
in her
favorite
glory
too.
in the
Actually, it
main
was a little
special.
disappointing as
Was
the
favorite
favorite.
though.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was a little bit disappointing. Keto Drink there, who's coming back out of the Cy-Fair race, who finished a good second. All right, let's go ahead and move on, Mr. Visco, to the next race, which is race 9. As I go ahead and switch it out, race 9, and we'll get some comments in the chat in a minute here, is an allowance race on the inner mile 16th. The rails are still out. The rails, by the way, are coming down, Pete, next week. I think they're going to stay down for the last 2 weeks of the meet, if I recall.
Yeah.
Because you got the Travers, obviously, is a big day. So I don't know if they're going to be down the entire week, but I know next weekend the rails are going to be down for sure. I know you've got a little bit of a sneaky opinion here in this race. It's a field of 10. Hey, they're all in the race. All right. Field of 10. Moreline favorite is number 2, An Experience, creative name. Angle Hart and Junior Jose Ortiz. Sorry, I'm not sure why I said Junior. I see a Junior above. I was thinking Irad. Jose Ortiz. I'm fading the favorite completely here. I'm going 6-5-10. Pete's going 1-5-10. Pete may be a fan of the JFK files because he's going with Zapruder. 8-1. Pletcher and Irad off a layoff. I know you have some stats you probably want to throw out there also on this potential middle to long shot price here for you and us in race 9.
Yeah, it's funny. This was one where I liked the horse, and then the stat completely contradicted my pick. So you have to figure: do you care about the stat, or do you not? This is, and I guess you could show the time form for this one because it sort of leads into my into my idea. This one, at least on paper, I'm with you. I don't think the favorites in this race are super strong. I think they're fine, and if they won, it wouldn't be surprising in the least. But I was looking at it thinking that at least there could be a hot pace here. This is one where, can you go to the pace rating there? I forget if it was me and Chris or me and Paul talked about this on the time form where you could.
Yeah, you're talking about these right here?
Because I use this a lot more than the visual. Okay. And if you look here in the main body, there's 5 horses between 108 and 117. So there's at least, there's more than sometimes we look at it and we go, oh, there could be a hot pace, but there's really only 2 speed horses and it doesn't materialize. Here, there's at least 5 or 6 horses that look like they want to be forward. And if that goes to plan, and if they get out there a bit, I don't love any of them. I don't think they're super strong necessarily to where I'm scared of them on the lead. So I was looking at it going, is there a closer at a price where I don't like the lower priced horses as much? And I thought the one could just sort of sit a ground saving trip, has some late kick, has some races, a couple back under Dutrow, now under Pletcher, but has those. So it was on the dirt last time, and you see those wins 3 and 4 back. I just think from a time, from a figure standpoint, from a results standpoint, if we can get a hot pace, maybe the trip is similar to those. And this horse now with Irad, who again, with an off the pace horse you love because he can time those so well. So I was looking for a bit of a price here, and I think this is one that could run on late. Maybe we get a nice price. But Pletcher, first after he hasn't run in a while. That's the problem. First after a 240 to 270 day layoff on turf, only one for 22. So there's some negativity to that. But, I'll take the shot with the price. But this is a bit of a spread race for me, too, for talking horizontals.
I'm sure his dirt numbers are better. You don't have to look it up, but I'm sure his dirt numbers are better.
I would think so. Yeah.
Better on those layoff stats. I talked about this yesterday, Pete. These horses that are running at the end of the Saratoga meet off layoffs, I have mixed feelings because the positive is that he wants to get a start at Saratoga, which is a very tough circuit, meaning the positive is the horse is probably ready to run and he likes the horse.
Yeah.
The negative is Saratoga is 8 weeks long. Where was this horse 5 weeks ago when he could have run 2 or 3 times the meet, right? So I don't know if you think about that. I don't think it's overthinking. I think it is something we talk about intent a lot, or I do on this show, and reading between the tea leaves there. I don't know if you have an opinion on what I just said, whether it's positive or negative. I take it more as a positive, but I still would have liked to see this horse, run at the beginning of the meet based on what I just talked about.
Yeah, no, I agree with that whole premise there. I take it into account if I wasn't getting the price, if you weren't getting a solid price, I think all that's maybe baked in a bit. I mean, if this horse was sitting at 5-2 or 3-1, I'd be like, I'm not sure what we're doing here. But at 8-1, with I think what are relatively soft favorites, I'll take the shot here. I want to hear you talk about this one because this one, I think I might have had this horse on. I don't know if the last race, which didn't work out very well, on one of our shows. So I almost wanted to come back with this one, but that last race threw me off a bit.
This is a spread. The number 6, the Pack Passer, there's a few things I like very quickly. Number 1, I like turnbacks, not as much on turf, more on dirt. But this horse made a ridiculous early move last time when Kigali won. And if you go back, obviously throughout the dirt race, I mean, what's wrong with the races 2 and 3 back? They were absolutely fit in this race. Dettori is not riding much, so I guess you could take that as a negative now. But if Dettori can just be a little patient and make that same move that this horse made 2 and 3 back in a race that has a lot of speed in it, I mean, I don't know, Pete. This is a complete wide open race. The Pack Passer is 8-1. I'm not a huge fan of coming back in a few weeks here, but I don't know, man. There's just a lot of horses here that I didn't love. You'd figured there'd be enough speed to set it up. And so I went with Amelia Green, who actually was an assistant to Todd Pletcher. Speaking of Todd Pletcher, only 1 for 21 at the meet, but it's a really tough meet. And I just want to throw out a price similar to Zapruder, really. We're thinking similarly, just with different horses.
Yeah, no, I was close, and I'll probably, depending on what kind of ticket I play later, I'm going to include the 6 because I don't want to lose to that horse. So I'm with you on that one.
Real Savvy is going to take a lot of money. It's my racehorse. You know that. Miguel, who's had a fantastic meet. This is, again, a very long layoff, though. With younger horses coming back in these spots, I like it less. Just because, again, this is a 3-year-old. There's plenty of 3-year-old good racing on turf at Saratoga, and this horse is only going to get 1 start here at Saratoga. Obviously, this horse can win, has numbers that absolutely fit, but it was a low price with a lot of pace in the race and hasn't run in a while. Obviously, probably favorite. I'm guessing Real Savvy is actually going to be the favorite over the number 2 and Experience, who, Pete, I hate these kind of horses that have big numbers. But it was slow fig. Sorry, the fig was good, but it was a slow pace race. That's not happening today. The horse is going to take money. Can she win, or can he win? Of course. These are the horses I do not like to take in a win bet, but I'll use in the pick 5.
By the way, this horse is a half to a horse that we're very familiar with. Did you check that?
I did not.
Kyle Roscoe will be happy. There you go.
See.
Look at that.
Oh,
look at that. Yes.
Now I got to upgrade for
now
sure.
Now you got to upgrade. Now we got to. We're in the family here. Yeah.
All right. That Sista's Ready was a nice brew.
By the way, Jeremiah Engelhardt,
all right, let's get to
with maiden winners last out on turf, but it's a small sample size. But for the favorite. Again, anytime you can find a negative in the favorite, I like it. But go ahead. Hey, Patrick.
Look who's up early. Not too early for the East Coast. Bolton Landing, beautiful. Oh, it's a beautiful town of Lake George. Patrick Kunzel's family has a house in Lake George. Has still not been up there. I'm still waiting for an invitation from Patrick. Apparently, I'm only allowed to go to the track with him and not to his palatial estate that his family has there. And
I mean, this
Lake
seems
George,
like an invite to me, right? That's what this
I mean,
comment seems. I mean,
if you said it, Pete, not me. I mean,
I'm reading it that way. I
feels
don't
that
know.
way.
Yeah, that's what it feels like.
Let's see. Chris wanted to mention Sci-Fair, obviously, which just watched the replay of the 2's debut, if you have not already. Okay, so check out the 2 in the Bolton Landing race. Anytime Chris says that, that perks my ears, and I will definitely look at that for sure. Let's see what else. I'm just looking. I don't want to be disrespectful to people in the chat. Zapruder from Raben. These horses making lateral barn changes last 6 to 8 months, then run here have not been great. Pete, thoughts?
No, that makes sense. I mean, that's again, I assume every time is going to be their own circumstance. So I don't know if I would follow that as a hard and fast rule, but it's fair. I mean, to me, I love any sort of data point. So anything positive or negative, I like to hear it and consider it. And then you see how you weigh it, and that'll go on your final decision. But like again, it's not like I think Zapruder is some lock. I just like the price and I like the potential pace set up there.
By the way, the 15 and 16 in that race have not been scratched. Those are main track oldies. So just like any day, I mean, there could be a pop-up thunderstorm. Just want to mention that. Let's go to the last race, which is a maiden 35. We do have some scratches. The 1 and 2 are out. It is now a field of 8. Heavy morning line favorite, the number 10 Secured Lender, Chad and Pratt, dropping down 7 to 5 morning line. Let's see where we're going to go in the last race of the day. I'm going to try to beat the favorite. I'm going 8, 10, 7. Pete's going 10, 7, 3. Pete, do you have stats? And if you don't, I'll try to stall here a little bit. But if you could find the stat on Chad Brown dropping with maiden in the maiden claiming ranks, and if you can even find it, what is he as the favorite in maiden claiming races where he drops? I know that's a lot to ask, but you're a stat guy. So
I'm
if
looking.
you could,
So if you're
what
just
do you got
talking
here?
maiden special to maiden claiming on dirt, because his turf sometimes inflated and actually didn't. He's 27% win, 65% in the money, and then favorites. Let's see. Shit. Favorites 38% win, 83% in the money. So he's pretty good when it comes to that move. Because let me ask you, because I would have bet odds that this was a horse you picked against only because was it the nervous of Jesus Christ, we're going from these maiden special weight good fields to now we're in for a $35,000 tag. It's not like we even dropped it to a high level maiden claiming. It just dropped way down. Was that part of your play against, or was that not a factor at all?
Not as much. I didn't look at the stat. So just for everyone, it's 37% on the win end, dropping main special to main claiming on the dirt as a favorite. Is that correct?
As a favorite, yes.
I mean,
yes.
that makes my pick against look pretty stupid. I don't know. I just want to go someone else. I'm not going to.
By the way, he's 0 for 4 in 2025, though. And only
interesting
0 for 4 with 2/3 only in 2025. So he had
I've seen him drop down some
hot
horses.
streak. Yeah, he had a hot streak that maybe inflated those numbers a bit last year or the year before.
I've seen him drop down some horses this meet, like you just said, not do well. So I don't know. I just, this horse is going to be, forget 7 to 5. It'll probably be 4 to 5. Why don't you talk about this one? Obviously, he can win like 7 furlongs. Has been working fine since. We'll probably win this race, to be honest.
Well, and has lost to some horses that I think are pretty good. So if you look, that was the thing. So Class Assist is a horse that I actually Class Assist and Chillax, who he lost to in the last race. I had those both tipped out on last week's tip sheet. And then before that, Stars and Strides came back to win. So I just thought the company that this horse has been keeping is good. We have Pratt. Obviously, this is a relatively well thought about horse who I don't know, didn't like the turf at all, started out really poorly, came back this year and just seems to be better, but can't get the job done. So I don't know if he's just trying to get a confidence builder here. But again, I wouldn't you expect this horse to be claimed for the 35? I mean, 35 seems pretty light for this
Yes.
horse. So I can't. I see. It feels like they're getting rid of it. So I don't know what that tells you.
Yeah, I don't feel too bad for Chad and
No,
Klarovich.
no,
Last time I
no, not
checked,
at all,
I
not
think
at
they have
all,
some
not at
pretty
all.
good horses in
But don't you
their
feel like they could have
stable.
dropped this one to a little higher claiming and still
Well,
somebody would have picked the horse up? Maybe. I don't know. I don't think about it that way that much.
one thing I've learned a lot as an owner, Pete, is I've got to know the inner workings of the condition book and things that I don't usually look at normally. I'm speculating here. I'm assuming they wanted to race one more time, and maybe there wasn't a 7
It might have
furlong
been.
dirt race,
Yeah,
for 50. Maybe this was the only option they had. And when you're Klarovich and Chad, main 50, main 35, what's 15 grand? Chad and Klarovich, they've got that, Seth Klarman, they got this, that's pocket change for them.
that
So
is true.
I am guessing here, Pete, but that'd be my assumption. It just wasn't a main 50, and that they want to go 7. Like there's probably some
Yeah,
main
there's a
50s for
cutback here.
6.
We didn't mention that. We're going from 9
No,
furlongs down to 7. So
right.
it's a pretty significant cutback here.
There's probably some main 50s for 6, but they probably want to run at 7.
True.
Again, I'm totally speculating. So
No,
anyway,
that's very logical though.
Sports hero. I'm not a sports hero, but I've got a lot of sports heroes. This one to me is interesting. Let's take a look at Sports Hero for a minute, and then we'll wrap up the show. Joe Sharp, by the way, having a great meet, 23%, right? Gets Jose Ortiz, nothing wrong there. Started his career at Oaklawn and Churchill in main special weights. Did not show a lot of speed, Pete, and was completely, was 4-1 actually in the debut. Didn't run great going a mile. Okay. Going to main 50 was awful. As the favorite, right? Sharp claimed this horse for 50. Immediately put this horse on turf. I find that interesting. But you know what? Ran an improved effort and also showed a little more tactical speed. Now has some works. Stretches out to 7, or not stretches out, but goes to 7 in a race where I just don't necessarily trust the 10 completely. It's a little bit of a flyer. I'm not going to start making up crap that's not there. I like the drop here. I like the connections, and I'm just going to take a little bit of a shot here with full understanding that the 10 is clearly the horse to beat. Vault is the other one, but it was raced on June 27th, Pete, was voided, claim for 50. This is the other one that looks very obvious, but this is also a very big drop down, and the works are very slow. This one, the drop even makes less sense to me. This is a $300,000 tap it, and there's completely giving up on Volt. So, and it's West Point, but again, don't feel it's too bad for them. I don't know, Pete. It's probably going to be one of these drop downs. I'll throw the 8 in there maybe to mix up the apple cart in a late pick 5, Pete. That frankly, now that we see it, with some scratches, I mean, you're trying to find some prices. Or what are you going to just play chalks in 5-horse fields and hit it for $40? I guess you can try to hit it a bunch of times, but
Well, it's
I don't know.
funny.
That's what I thought.
I wrote that literally in the power picks today, where I was like, to me, the late pick 5, and this was pre scratches, but the late pick 5 seemed to me that you have to make that decision. If you're, say, a caveman player, I guess even an ABC player as well, but if you're, say, a caveman player, you have to decide, do I just ride the favorites and try and hit it, 5, 10 times? Or do I think a couple of these could be beat? And if we beat a couple of these low priced horses, that it could pay. That's always a tough decision though, because you feel stupid when you spend, X amount of money and the pick 5 pays $135 and you feel like an idiot because you just didn't ride the chalkier horses. But this race, don't you think though, not to belabor it, that last race, if the 10 doesn't win, I feel like almost any of them can, because I didn't really
Yeah,
love any
probably.
of the other horses all that much.
I'm going to protect. I'll leave it with something fun here at the end. I'm going to protect the phone number, but this is how this should have happened yesterday. But if this happened yesterday afternoon, I'm going to throw my phone against the wall. I just got a text this morning. Pete, tell me how to handle this. Everyone at home, tell me how to handle this. I'm trying to cover up the phone number. Maybe I should just leave the freaking phone number. So I get this text, and this is whoops, sorry. Well, it's okay. I had the number on there. That's probably illegal.
Or you,
So I don't know if
yeah.
you can read that. So first of all, this is spam. I don't know what that phone number is at all. I don't put trash in front of people's houses. I don't know what that is about. And they even spent the time, Pete, you see, to use the dashes to make a, well, I suppose that's supposed to be an unhappy face. It end up being a neutral face.
Yeah, I don't know what
Any
that
thought on
face
how
is.
I should handle that spam? Should I actually respond?
No, see, I get a lot of those where it's like, "Hey, are we meeting for lunch today?" I'm like,
Yeah,
"No," because I don't.
Who are these people?
Sure, who are you people? I think in this case, the delete and junk or whatever they call it
Okay.
function on the iPhone is probably the wise move. But and stop throwing trash.
Whoops, where is it?
There you go. Delete and report junk. That seems to be the move. And stop throwing trash in people's yards. Maybe you really are, and you just don't want to tell it. Maybe you're one of those kind of people. So stop.
Maybe that person mistook my trash for actually horses that I was tipping out yesterday.
I mean, that could maybe that's
until the second half of the day.
Yard is a euphemism for their email inbox for the power picks. Yes, but yesterday was good. So let's
Pete's been a lot of fun, man. Good to have a good laugh with you. Look, life is very interesting. A lot of fun. Big week next week, Pete. Got the Travers coming up. Looks like it's gonna be a small field.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say it's gonna be a walkover now with magnitude in there, but it's gonna be really interesting race to see if Sovereignty can take care of business once again, as he's scared off most of the horses into the Penn Derby or other places. We'll have full coverage of the Travers. It's always an unbelievable card with really good racing. There's also good racing throughout the country as well. As we sneak up, Pete, to the Breeders' Cup, it is not that far away. We're middle August here, so we're only 2.5 months away. A lot of horses are only going to have one more start really coming up before the Breeders' Cup. And if you're not watching European racing or our domestic racing, especially on weekends, you better start doing that, because you do not want to wait till a few weeks left before you start handicapping the Breeders' Cup. My handicapping starts January 1st basically, so it should be a lot of fun as they go to San Diego again. A lot of popular hats I've been wearing. I like this one. This one I got for free. This is one I bought because when you Sylvain, when you sign up for the BCBCP, the $10,000 contest, they give you a $100 free gift certificate to the Breeders' Cup store. So this is one that I bought. Was it last year? 2 years ago? This is one that I actually bought through a gift certificate on the Breeders' Cup website.
Beautiful.
So that's where that came from.
But yes, yes, everything you said, whatever you were saying before that, it's a great week. It's a great week. Breeders' Cup's not too far around the corner. The Travers card, even if the Travers itself isn't coming up fantastic, that card is always great. So we look forward to cover. I hope we're covering that one on Thursday. Would be when you make the schedule this week. That would be lovely.
What do you think, Pete? Yeah, I think we should cover the Travers.
I think we should cover the Travers. That sounds right to me. Paul would like to cover the Travers, I assume. So let's do that.
Well, he's going to be actually in Saratoga.
Oh, he's there. That's right. Yeah, I wonder, is he even on Thursday? We don't even know yet.
So maybe we'll get a special guest if I'll try if Paul's not on. We'll see what we can do.
Okay.
A lot of people are very busy next week though, so we'll see in terms of
Yeah, that's a tough week.
All right, Pete. Wrap it up. Nice guy, my friend, for my good friend and co-host Pete Visco. This has been your host Howard Kravitz. Saratoga today, August 17th. Crush your bets at the spa. Take care, everyone. Have a great day. Goodbye.
If you have not followed his Triple H horse racing podcast, you're missing out. It's one of the best podcasts in the country.